Remember this, put it in your head. That person was created by God just as you were, and you have the ability to save them. You have the ability to change their faith for the better. And you are going to sit there and just let that opportunity pass by because you might be too scared. And that opportunity may never arise in their life again. Yep. And so know that when you approach somebody, you could save their entire life. You could change their entire life. You could transform them, or God could transform them using you. And just know that God loves them as he loves you, and that you should love them as you love yourself. So why wouldn't you tell somebody the truth? Why wouldn't you want to save them? Welcome to episode 24. Today,
welcome.
We have Aiden, Matthew, and myself, and Robbie on the soundboard.
He's our favorite on the soundboard.
Yes. And so today, we have decided that we are going to be discussing
manhood
and brotherhood.
Very good.
Okay, good. I thought you were going to do the sparkles for manhood. That would have not fit.
Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is, does anyone have any godly moments throughout the week?
Well, every day's a godly moment, as I like to say, and Jonah said on a previous podcast. But I'd say my godly moment was just getting my, I don't know if I wasn't off course too much, but getting my life back with God and in my faith.
That's
staying steadfast. So that, it's short and simple, but that is my little testimony over the week.
Very good, Matthew. Aiden, do you have anything to say?
Well, I was just thinking about earlier, like half an hour ago even, we saw Jackie downstairs at the church. Shout out to Jackie, by the way. She's wonderful.
She made great dumplings for us.
Yeah, she made us dumplings.
They were very good.
We were like, we still don't know what to talk about for this podcast. And then she's like, you guys should talk about brotherhood and community, because she runs a project focused on the safety of kids and at some point grounding them in their faith, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she really put an emphasis on the fact that we as humans were all the same. Mm-hmm. And I mean, obviously we have different personalities and different beliefs, but in kind of a simplified way, we should all be treated the same.
In God's eyes too, because we're all loved by him and we're all created in his image.
Exactly. And so I think that's something that we don't say enough on this podcast, is that everybody here, you were made in God's image. God loves you. God cares about you. And so we ask, as we always do, run to God. He loves you.
That's not a question.
We ask that you.
Just enjoy it.
We demand.
Sorry. We demand that you run to God. Okay.
Well, how about you?
Yeah, I had a couple of things. So first thing I want to do is a short little apology to you guys that I kind of made a whole little episode without you kind of ripping on you.
No, I was fine with that. The only part that bothered me about that, like I thought it was going to be funny. Mm-hmm. I thought it was pretty funny. But the only part that bothered me was how loud the bleep noise was when you said
that was the one thing I forgot to amp down.
It was so loud.
I find it how funny,
scared the crap out of me.
How focused we were on food. Like I was putting my anger into food.
Yeah.
We should go get some chicken tinga tacos.
Yeah, let's go get some chicken tinga tacos. This episode stank. Stank. I mean, it does. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It stinks literally after this podcast is over because
no ventilation.
It is so hot in this room. You might see sweat pouring down my face.
Are you like crying or is that sweat?
No,
right
that's
there?
sweat.
I think their logic was that the AC would like mess with the audio, but now we're like dying. But anyway, that's not important. So I was told after I released that episode that both Aiden and Matthew were kind of working on their own personal faith while they were trying to do the podcast.
Who told you that?
Matthew did.
Me.
Oh.
So I'm sorry that I didn't
I forgive
take
you.
that into account.
We forgive you, Wolfgang.
But it made me realize that my own personal faith was very weak, especially last week. I had been focused on too many other things like homework and whatnot. And not as important as God, obviously. Right. And I wasn't growing my relationship as much as I should have. And so,
yeah, I think we all get distracted
yeah.
from our faith, and that's why I'm so grateful to come here. It's actually not a Sunday, but I would say on Sundays I'm really grateful to be here.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
there.
I was.
But Aiden, every time there's always some really nice person who greets us at church, and Aiden's like, I love it here.
Yeah, yeah. I tell Matthew every time we come to church every Sunday. People are congregating in the front, like getting coffee, doing their thing. Everyone's talking with each other, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's you!" And they point one of us out, and then we talk to them for like 5 minutes, and they talk about our podcast, and we talk about like whatever they do, if they do some project or however they help the community.
Like we did with Jackie.
Yeah, exactly. That was
more in depth than it typically is.
Yeah,
but I still
seriously,
liked it a lot.
The point is that like, I just love being here. And I tell Matthew every time, like, I love it
It's
here.
it's a safe place.
Yeah, I mean, it always shows us that church is not a building; it's a community, and it always is there to lift other Christians up.
They don't want to steal your money.
A good segue into our next. Into our first discussion.
Well, I haven't finished my godly moment
Sorry,
here.
Wolfgang.
So it kind of made me realize because Jocelyn was here over the weekend, and I was anticipating it up until that point, and I was kind of distracted from God in a way, not a good way. But it kind of shows how Satan can use like a good thing, a good situation, like you're comfortable in life and you're happy, and kind of flip it around to distract you and replace God. And that's something that happened this weekend, and I was kind of upset after I realized it. But when I came into church on Sunday, I went first sermon with first service, and they went second service. So I never ended up actually seeing them on Sunday. But the thing is that when I went to first service, there was a man there who later Nana introduced me to afterwards. But he had gotten up once they had the open mic session time, and people tell stories during that. And he said that he was also distracted from God, and he said that what happened was that he was, I think, in Philadelphia over the week. This guy's name is Bill. I'll point him out to you if I see him next Sunday or after that. But yeah, he said that he was there for Veterans Day, and that he had gone to go visit his father because his father had died a couple of years ago because of an illness. But he was a veteran. So he went to go pay the respects, and he said that he was kind of praying for his father, and he was praying for his family, but he didn't realize until he looked over about 30 feet to his right, and there was a woman there with 2 little kids. He said they couldn't have been older than 7 or 8, and they were both hugging her legs while she was crying at a grave. And his story made me start crying because it showed me that not everybody has good things in their lives, and we need to be more thankful for them, and we need to connect to God. And it shows that Satan can use really good things, or at least what you think is really good, to pull you away from God. He can take amazing things in this world and turn them into terrible things. But God can do the exact opposite.
Yeah, because everything that God made was good. But as soon as the deceiver came, a lot of those things became corrupted, and were like their whole meaning changed.
Yep.
Exactly.
The whole context.
But Bill said that he had... it kind of pulled him back to God, because he started talking to him a lot more after that, which definitely inspired me. But I ended up talking to him afterwards because I saw Nana. She was at second service, and Nana introduced me to him, and she said he was a Catholic with me. He went to the same church as me, and the only reason he's here right now is because I prayed him here, and I wanted him to keep coming here, and then eventually he did show up after countless amount of times of pleading and praying, and he agreed with her, which was really nice to hear. And so it's kind of funny how we as Christians, as a community, we can have one person touch another, and then that person touch another, and then it all goes around in a circle. And so I think that's a good segue into our community as Christians. We as Christians
have a responsibility.
Yeah, we have a responsibility to love not only just other Christians, but everybody. It was written in the scroll of Isaiah that Jesus read after he was baptized that he would not be the Savior for the Jews, but for all of mankind.
Yeah.
So Jesus didn't die for me. He didn't die for Matthew, Aiden alone. He died for every single person on this earth in the past, present, and future. And I think that's something beautiful.
Robbie, I saw his fingers.
Yeah, it was hovering over.
Lingering over the. Like, I didn't mention it earlier, but when we were like, all right, that's a good part for the segue, his fingers went straight for the sparkles.
But yeah, I think we as Christians need to start acting as Jesus would. And I know that's such an easy thing to say.
Oh.
But we as
When
Christians...
we're laughing at the word weenie, we're probably not there yet.
Well, it's not even the immaturity. That's a whole different,
That's a different
subject.
thing.
We don't need
Yeah.
to worry about that. The main part that I'm concerned about is, you guys have had the desires in the past to just go up to random people and start talking to them, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Are you crazy?
I don't know, just all of that was just stuff I've been praying about for myself and for you guys.
Because
It's just.
What specific?
Oh.
Like the going up to random people and just like.
Well, just okay. So first of all, it's just I want all of us. I've been praying for a long time that we can all become just steadfast and rooted in God and in our faith. Because I know, yes. Most days it's like I'll look at myself and I'll look at all of us and go, okay, today we did some things right, but most of the time we were not living a godly life. We were immature, we were making jokes we shouldn't have, and we were putting people down, making fun of them. And I was like, that is not what Christians should act like. So I continued to pray just that all of us can, become closer to God in this discipleship we have. And recently I've been praying, it's just like this, if we want to spread the word, we all need to learn how to talk to people. That's what I've been praying about, just God to bring us that courage and confidence to go up to anybody on the streets, spark a conversation with them, and just talk to them just about life in general. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be about God.
Yeah, you can just get their story. And the thing is that it doesn't have to, you don't immediately, okay. You don't have to be the guy who stands on the side of the street going, Jesus is coming back, with the megaphone. That happens a lot from big cities that I've been in.
However,
and I'm going to be honest.
You can wear the Fire Stars for Jesus hat.
You can do that. That would help.
That one was for Luke.
But no, the thing is that doesn't help, in my opinion. I feel like yelling stuff onto
That
the street
scares people away.
Not only it scares people away, it's kind of anti-productive, as you just said. But the reason why Christianity has been so flourishing in well, obviously because our God's real, but secondly, because people, when they have that beautiful and amazing relationship with their God, they start having a desire to have it with other people, so that way they can have that same relationship with God. And so when you feel as if, oh, should I go talk to that person, and should I go kind of get to know them, so then you can then talk to them about Jesus and all that. But the number one thing is like things where you're forced to talk to people. Like let's say XED, which if you guys don't know what XED is, I explained it all back in episode 14, and you guys can go
It's
watch
short
that.
for experiential education.
Yeah, experimental education.
Experiential.
One of those two. It doesn't matter.
Experimental education.
Anyway, so yeah, I really liked it because what it could do is I have never talked to about the group of 20 people that I was with. But you know what? They put me with them for a week in order to kind of force me to become friends with them. And I'm good friends with a lot of those people to these days.
What's that?
It's like I was put with these people for a whole week, and I was forced to be friends with them.
Well, you...
No, you summed it up well in the end. It just sounded like it was...
I mean, but the thing is that you're not technically forced to be friends with them, but when you're in an environment where you always have to be together,
You can't hate each other.
Yeah, you
I
like
want
work
to be
you
with
learn to work together and be friends.
It was
cool.
It was an amazing experience for me. And so, like I said, it might be something where you go and meet at like I don't know, some sort of class, or because you're forced to be in that, or obviously church, but there's other things, sports events and things like that, where you can just get to know people and then invite them over and get to know them better, and then show them that you're a Christian without telling them. I wrote this down last night because I was writing a lot last night, that if you have to tell somebody straight up that you're a Christian, if after like a couple hours of conversation, obviously you can like walk up and be like, hey, I love Jesus and all that. But if you, after a couple of hours of conversation, are talking to them and you have to say, hey, by the way, I'm a Christian, I feel as if you failed as a duty of a Christian. Because if you're not showing that outwardly, then it's not, it's not.
I probably already explained this, but like on the podcast, but Dan Dangler, he's our Young Life leader. And if you don't know what Young Life is, have we explained what Young Life is?
Young Life is everywhere.
Young Life it's a nationwide thing. I think it's there's versions
no,
of it like
it's
all around
international.
the world.
Yeah, it's international. You can go look it up. If you look up Young Life, it'll be the first thing that pops up.
Just for sake of ease, but Dan Dangler is Aspen's high school Young Life leader, and he's good because he has kids that are our age.
Yeah, we know them personally.
Yep. And Dan, he loves to lead like the 8th grade outdoor ed groups because that's a 5-day backpacking trip in the Maroon Wilderness here in Aspen. And so some parents are able to chaperone just like on the first day, and they'll like hike back because they can't really like stay the night, and Dan will do that, and he shows, the way he described it is that he shows like really good character, and he's super like fun to talk to and funny. And then when these kids find out that he's Christian, they're intrigued to like learn more about Christianity.
Exactly.
And Jesus.
Especially if you're a Christian who can make jokes. That helps a lot.
Well, yeah. I didn't mean it as in like you failed as a Christian. I didn't mean that. I'm saying like if you can't get people, because for instance, I knew this woman at my work. I'd only talked to her a few times, but she kind of knew my work ethic. She knew that I worked hard, and I've told this story on the podcast before. But she ended up finding the podcast, and she said, "I never really understood why you were all the things that you were," because she was giving me a compliment. She said, "You work really hard, you try really hard, and you always do your best to make people happy, even if it's not beneficial to you." And that was something that really touched my heart. But she said, "I understand now. That's because you love Christ and you love God, that is what he's called you to do, and that's why you do it." And that was something that really, really hit me here.
Touched you.
Touched my heart. And so, just like Matthew's.
You got a nice heart.
Thank you.
Godly men.
Godly men.
So, Aiden, I'm going to quiz you. What does godly man look like?
Jesus.
Okay, well,
Okay,
he
well-
was God.
Yeah.
He was a godly man. He was a God man.
He was, yeah.
You are right about that.
Am I wrong, though?
What qualities make a godly man?
Yeah, what was Jesus? What did he do? What did he act like?
He had magic powers.
Okay, not all of us have magic powers. in
Hey,
the moment.
all of us can have magic
Can.
powers.
Not at
We
the
just had to
moment, though.
believe really, 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 really hard.
Well, that's true, actually. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
I can.
The hive mind has turned on.
No, so, yeah, I can list a few.
Okay.
We can go around.
Strong.
I was going to say humble.
Okay, very good.
Humility.
Very good. Mm-hmm.
Are we going around, or is it just me?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Okay. Humility. Let's see. Strength.
Self-control.
Selflessness.
Courage.
Kind.
I was going to say altruism, but that's selflessness.
I have a cheat sheet here.
Confidence.
Confidence.
Giving you one.
Close to God.
Close to God.
Confidence.
Okay, well, I'm going to read a couple of Bible
Let's
verses.
keep going until we stop.
Until we stop?
Proximity to
Okay.
God.
Let's see here. Did you say one?
Yeah, confidence.
Oh, charitable. I did not get that one from there, by the way. I'm just.
Fun-loving.
Humorous.
Whimsical.
Is that humorous behind the whimsical?
Sure, yeah. It's like humorous.
Matthew, you haven't said steadfastness yet.
Steadfast.
You've been saying that all day. All right, are we good there?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's also righteous and gentle. But anyway, let me go over a couple of Bible verses about this. 1 Corinthians 16:13. Be watchful, stand firm in faith, act like men, be strong.
Be strong.
Be strong.
There's a reason. Okay, I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but there's a reason people say, or like would say, man up. I think.
It's because men hide their emotions and are strong.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it shows in this verse.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
strong means something different here.
It could mean strong-willed. It could mean
Big.
Big.
yeah. Anyway. Therefore, an overseer must be above reproach, the husband of one wife, sober-minded, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, and able to teach. That's 1 Timothy 3:2.
We,
And then I'm
we
gonna
got a whole list of these.
I'm gonna give you one more here.
Then we can talk about it. I think afterwards, let's give some real life examples of what a real man looks like and what real or what fake men.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna do two more.
We're not talking about.
We're
fake
not
men.
talking about fake men. We're talking about fake men.
Okay, so Micah 6:8, or Micah. How do you say it?
Micah.
Micah, I thought so.
Micah.
All right. He has told you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God? And then I'll give you one more, which is 1 Peter 3:7. Two more. 1 Peter 3:7. Likewise, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way. That's one wife, by the way. Showing honor to the woman as a weaker vessel, since they are heirs with you of the grace of life, so that your prayers may not be hindered. So a good husband or man
Yeah.
of God
Mhm.
would
Takes
protect
care.
his wife
Yeah,
and
Protect
take
his
care.
wife.
And then, last one, 1 Timothy 6:11. But as for you, O man of God, flee these things. Pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, steadfastness, and gentleness.
Okay, so there is a lot there.
If you'd like, you can look into these more yourself. Look at different translations and whatnot. These are all ESV. But yeah, godly men. This world needs godly men. Because I'm not saying that we don't need godly women. The issue is that just none of us feel as if we have the authority to
Yeah.
speak on what a godly woman is.
We are men.
I wanted to do it with Nana, but she wanted to go with godly people, which is fine. But now I have nobody for my godly women. Actually, I do have somebody for that. We'll
Who?
bring her on. Good friend of Nana. Her name,
Oh.
I believe, is Kathleen.
Okay. Well, I also I think we should make some ties into what we see in our real life.
Mm-hmm.
So if any of you guys have anything to say about this, like it could be, what do you think? I think we've seen a dramatic decrease of tough guys or godly guys. Or
Yeah, because
just what
men and
manhood
men.
means in general.
Yeah.
I feel like that there's a lot less of that.
Yeah, and personally, I can't name any like godly men right off the bat, but I could name godly characteristics of men that I know, like Derek.
I'd say John Fisher's a pretty godly man.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and Derek,
Yeah,
Derek
and
Brown,
Chris.
and
Kyle.
my dad.
Yeah.
Your dad.
There's people that we can all point to that we would say we would describe as godly men. Yes?
Mhm. Yeah.
And that we all
But the sad part is there's a lot more people I can describe as
not so godly
not being
men.
a man.
Weak.
Not being a man. And I cannot stress this enough. When I say someone's not a man, I do not mean they don't have a penis. They still have a penis, but they just don't act like a man.
Matthew.
The quality. Okay. Because some people can take that out of context, and you know that happens a lot here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Clarification.
Clarification. Anyways, I think a lot of it has to. I think a lot. I don't know. I see kids today like I look at our grade, it's people lack these qualities.
Mm-hmm.
When I see people who would rather look at their phone than talk to somebody.
Well, it's not our job to judge; it's our job to help.
I know.
Well, we can make
be quiet.
observations.
I'm making observations, Aiden.
and then
I'm-
we can help. 'em.
I'm addressing the problem.
Okay, fine. Just judge people then.
And
Judging.
hold on. As a disclaimer, none of us
You
actually.
have your own water.
It's colder.
Just as a disclaimer, some of these qualities that that Matthew or anyone else who decides to join in might describe, we sometimes do these things, and we're not innocent of any of these qualities or
It's
attributes.
not as good.
Is it lukewarm?
It's not as good.
Is it
It's
lukewarm?
on the verge.
Because once it's lukewarm, we got to throw it out.
Spit it out.
Anyways, no, what I'm describing here is what you don't want to fall into. Because when I see guys who are lazy and can't get off their butt to go do something,
That applies to us too.
that
Yeah,
applies
that
to
does
us.
apply
No,
to
no,
us.
I'm not saying I have been lazy before.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I see this, I've seen this in my own life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I see people who are lazy who can't get off their butt and do something, that doesn't mark a real man to me.
Well, that's
Because
actually.
we're boys.
Well, yeah.
We're men.
We're boys.
I'm turning 18.
I'm turning 18.
I'm legally a man.
So anyway, one thing that actually happened at my company, there was somebody who works for my dad, obviously, and she is very good at marketing. She makes a lot of money because she's very good at it. And she's a young woman too. She recently got married a couple of years ago, and then recently divorced the guy because all he would do is sit on his butt all day and play video games. And that's all he would do. He wouldn't go out and get a job or anything like that. He just wanted to play video games, so she just left him. So if you are not a godly man, your wife may leave you. Just a warning.
This is a threat.
This is a threat.
This is a threat.
She might leave her for someone like
Matthew here.
Or she might leave him for something like
He's almost
Yeah.
18 too.
he's almost 18.
That could be bad.
So yeah,
Anyways.
just if it's always a good thing if you are confused about how to act. The Bible tells you plenty of ways of how to act. It's great. It's a guide.
Says the Bible.
It's a great guide to live your life in every single day. The Bible, even though it might not seem like it does, covers every single issue you may ever have.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't, then it kind of relates to in a different way, but the same at the same time, you know.
Yeah. And I think we should also list qualities we should stay away from.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So, I've got a few. So, please.
Just name every opposite of all the stuff that we named.
No,
so like
exactly.
selfish.
Selfishness, anger, greed.
Yeah, angry,
selfishness,
greedy.
sloth. You have sex before marriage.
That is not godly. Oh, yeah, sexual immorality.
Oh,
That's-
how do we forget about that one?
How did we forget about that one? My gosh.
Oh.
A man is called to protect the purity of his spouse.
Jeez, how did I forget about that? Porn. That's
Oh.
a huge
Oh, yeah.
issue. I think porn has single-handedly made destroyed a generation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so available to like
It's like
everyone.
And I mean, if you do your research on it, which I haven't, but I know people who have, if you do your research on it, you can find out it's really bad for you. It's really bad for your mind. It's really bad for stimulation of, different hormones and things like that, and
I mean,
chemicals.
and it's prideful.
That too, yes.
Yeah.
And it's also lustful, which if that was kind of a given. But this one's from Titus 1:16. They profess to know God, but they deny him by their works. They are detestable, disobedient, unfit for any good work. We missed another one. You have to have works in your faith, because James says, I think it's James 2:5.
Did we not say hard work?
Thou must bear fruit.
No, we didn't say hardworking.
Oh.
James 2:5, I believe, says that faith without works is dead.
Yep.
And so we as Christians, not even just men, women too, we have a responsibility to share Christ as well as just do things for God and by God and through God. And if we don't do that, our faith is basically worth nothing. Because I remember you guys, I wasn't there for that episode, but you guys talked a lot about, if you only have works and you don't have faith, then those works mean nothing, which is true. I
And
definitely
it goes
think that
both ways.
faith
Vice
is
versa.
more important than works, but works without faith is dead. It says it quite clearly in the Bible, even more when it says, or even more clearly than it says, like, depart from me, I never knew you, because of the people that did their works. But yeah, so I just want to say that hard working as well. And you can
Yeah.
look at a lot of Jesus's parables about that. He says a lot of stuff on that. I love his stories. They're great.
Jesus stories.
And yeah. And then, as we said before in the community one, sorry, I just found this one. It says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is no male or female, you are all one in Christ. So we do not discriminate based on race, sex.
We don't discriminate, period.
anything.
There's no room for hate.
Yeah.
Well, I was just saying. There is no room for anything. I saw this
No,
thing.
I wasn't disagreeing with you.
Yeah, yeah. No room for any hate. I saw this thing today at our school. They decided to release, like, something called, like, what is it? No space for hate, or no,
Oh
Yeah, no room for
Josh
hate.
No room
Barrow's
for
talking
hate.
about that.
something like that. But no, that was safe to tell, Matthew.
What is your guys' opinion on safe to tell?
I don't know. I probably wouldn't use it. I'd probably just tell somebody, but it's not important. But yeah, they said it's something like no place for hate, or something like that.
Which is really ironic, because it wasn't Elijah Goldman talking about that.
I don't remember. It's not important. We're not gonna call
bring that
people
back
out
up.
or bring anything up. But I don't think anybody at that school supports hate.
No.
I don't think, and even many people don't even think that what they're doing is hateful a lot of the time, and that's the issue.
Oh, yeah.
Is that we as Christians claim to love everybody, and then people say, no, you don't. That happens a lot, actually, where we say, look, we're hypocrites and we're sinning if we don't love everybody. And so why would we ever want to hate somebody? So when I claim to not hate somebody and they say, no, you hate that person, I'm like, how would you know?
Yeah,
You don't know the relationship between me and my God and things that go on with that. I'm not supposed to, and therefore I won't.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of things that I'm not supposed to, and I will. But if I can control that, which I can, that's definitely one of the things you can control is how much you hate something. We'll sign that petition, but I don't think it's going to do anything.
Mhm.
You know, it's kind of worthless in a way. It's like the works without faith. You can, or faith without works. You can say that you want to, or that you don't, or dislike hate all you want, but how many of those people are actually going out and doing something about it? They're
Yep.
not. Which, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I think that's why we had the responsibility, because the one thing, at least from my experience, that is known to turn people around is Christ.
Mm-hmm.
People growing in faith changes their whole perspective on life, like it did for me.
Yeah.
Well, I was watching an interview earlier today, and it was about a Muslim who turned to Jesus and was at Oxford talking about it, but he said that and it kind of related with this, he had nothing to gain, really, out of a relationship with Christ. If anything, he had things to lose, because he would lose family, he would lose friends, he might even lose his life.
It's a big risk.
It is a
Yep.
big risk. And he said he didn't start liking Christianity more. He started realizing that Islam was was just not correct.
Right.
And he said that he went back and looked at all the evidence of it. You know, the normal stuff of a logical person. But the thing is that it made me realize in my own life, like, I had it to where I could be like, I didn't have to follow any moral values. I didn't have to follow a moral compass. I could just do whatever I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But instead I said, look, this is the truth, and I can't deny the truth, and I want to follow the truth.
Yep.
So that's what I did. I wanted to pursue it. And many people say, as they did, they said it changed me.
Mhm.
And change is kind of like a minuscule word. It's really not,
It doesn't
have a
do
big
justice
impact.
of what it really means.
what it does
Yeah.
to a person. So when our pastor was talking on Sunday, he said that change can only be done by man. Transformation, that is what can be done by
Yes.
God.
Mhm.
And that is something that we as Christians have done to ourselves. You can look at many people who used to be drug dealers, who used to be people who would kill other people, or terrible, terrible things, obviously. And they turned around. They changed their life for Jesus. And it's an incredible thing to see.
Kanye.
Jesus
I mean, you're not wrong.
Jesus has saved more people than any medical treatment, than any drug or other person in this world.
Yep.
Jesus has saved more lives than anything to ever exist.
Yeah, and
What
we're
does
not
that say?
we're not here to tell you that your faith and what you believe is wrong. We're just here to say that ours is right.
Well,
in a way,
there can only be one right.
There is
one
only
is
one
the
right
issue.
one.
But you can still respect other people and then
Yeah.
eventually push them in the right direction.
But that just reminds me, just looking out the classroom and how kids like behave. It's just none of them. They don't know. They don't know.
They don't have anything to guide them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, it brings sorrow
we
to
are
my
lost.
heart.
We're lost
Mhm.
as a generation.
Yeah, I mean, once you lose your compass, your map, which is the Bible and Jesus. So if you have like a compass or a map, and you lose that compass or map, you're gonna be lost. And he even says it with Jesus. He says, or Chris actually made this when Jesus talked about the salt and the light of the earth. He said, if this room were to go pitch black and you thought that you were in danger, and you saw a little door crack, and there was like 20 people in this room, everyone would run straight for that little door crack of light, and they would try to go through that door. And that's what Christians did when they, had their experiences with Christ and decided to follow him. He was the light, and he's the salt.
And it's just like a white LED strip that the deceiver put there.
I'm glad that you think that's funny.
Sorry.
Okay, Matthew, would you like to wrap us up here?
Yes, I'm gonna wrap us up by tying some things we said earlier. So loving others, working with faith with works.
Mhm.
What else was there? I'll think of it as I say it. But and also everyone was made in God's image.
Mhm.
And I think when people are scared to talk to people, I think it's good to remember we're all the same. We're all human. People can't hurt you. I mean, spiritually speaking. But Robbie, put the flip-flop down. But no, people can't hurt you, and we're all made in God's image. And if we're called to love, we should probably just really distracting over there. But if we're called to love, we should go up to that person that God's calling you to talk to and just talk to them. It doesn't have to be about Christianity at first. But, if you start to get to know this person, just introduce your faith to them and act as a Christian would, as Jesus would, or act as Jesus would. So that's just what I want to close off with.
Yeah. One thing is that remember this every single time that you're going to go talk to somebody who you may not know, could be a complete stranger, and you might not even feel comfortable talking to them. Remember this, put it in your head. That person was created by God just as you were, and you have the ability to save them. You have the ability to change their faith for the better. And you are going to sit there and just let that opportunity pass by because you might be too scared. And that opportunity may never arise in their life again.
Yeah.
And so know that when you approach somebody, you could save their entire life. You could change their entire life. You could transform them, or God could transform them using you. And just know that God loves them as he loves you, and that you should love them as you love yourself. So why wouldn't you tell somebody the truth? Why wouldn't you want to save them?
People who are unsaved are walking in a meaningless life. No, that's the truth.
That is the truth.
They're walking in a meaningless life into a hellless, into hell, basically.
Is it hellish or is it hell?
No, hell.
Make a choice.
I'm gonna say
They're walking
hell.
into a separation from
They're
God.
walking to a separation with God, and they don't even know it. They don't even. So change them and show them what life is all about.
We'll say it over and over again. If you truly love somebody, as you are called to do, you will tell them the truth.
Because people ask a lot, like, what's the meaning of life? And the meaning of life you can find with God. And if you look anywhere else in your life, in culture, in parties, having fun with people. That was a fun episode. I'm happy we did that.
Revoir tout le monde.
Robbie, that's not very nice of you. But anyway, so we are going to be doing a Q&A episode next episode, and we'll get all your questions done. Please send in as many questions as you'd like or can physically think of. We want all the questions in the world. Send them. And we already have like 5 to 10 here already, but yeah, we're going to figure that out. We're going to have a great time with it.
Figure it out.
And Luke and Jonah should be on the next one.
Ew.
Well, I'll see you.
All right.
Bon travail tout le monde.
We'll see you all next episode.